Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And you can't make this shit up. You know, it's quite incredible in a world where everybody's pointing the finger at each other about racism and this, that, and the other. I mean, Black Lives Matter, all this sort of crap that's going on. Now, in South Africa, white teachers and children at school are going to be investigated to see if they are racist or not. Now, note I said white, because that's the only group that is going to be investigated for racism. As I said, you can't make this shit up. And yet, the mainstream media are just ignoring this as if it's okay. Well, I'm telling you now, it's not okay. This sort of behavior by the ANC government is the very reason they have to be kicked out. They have to go. I'll give my middle finger to the so-called democracy. This is not a democracy. This is basically like what happened in communist Russia, when people were actually encouraged, kids were encouraged to go and out their parents if they said bad things about the Soviet Union back then. This is true. They were actually encouraged to do that. And if they reported their parents were put behind bars. This is where South Africa is going. It is a complete and utter disgrace what is happening. Let me just put a bit of meat on the bone, and it comes from the Freedom Front Plus, who say as follows. The Freedom Front Plus is ascertained from the response by the Gauteng MEC for Education, Panyasa Lesufi, to a question in the provincial Legislature that the Education Racism Advisory Council, which will be tasked with investigating teachers and learners for inclinations of racism, is born out of the sin of racial prejudice. According to the written reply that the Freedom Front Plus received from Lesufi, the main reason why the council will be established is the incidence of white-on-black racism. Do you get that? White-on-black racism. What about farm attacks, farm murders? What about black economic empowerment, an ANC government policy? Isn't that racism? You know, when you point one finger at somebody, you got three pointing back at you. This ANC government is the most racist government in the world today. And now they're saying they're pointing the finger at the white people in South Africa. Just ridiculous. Anyway, let's continue. No mention is made of black-on-white racism. It is thus abundantly clear that the council will be established in order to investigate white teachers and learners in a biased manner without any consideration of reverse racism and discrimination. The Freedom Front Plus considers the creation of the council as unconstitutional because it is one-sided and will arbitrarily discriminate against white teachers and learners. The party will lodge a formal complaint with the Human Rights Commission. The planned frame of reference of the proposed council puts forward, among other things, examples of where black learners are excluded from schools and where language and religion are used as basis for exclusion, as rationale for the creation of the council. This in itself serves as proof that the proposed council will be used to collect so-called data to target non-English schools and force them to change their language policy based on incidents of alleged racism. In essence, the examples provided are actually ANC code aimed for hurting Afrikaans schools and forcing all schools to become multilingual, which will eventually result in all schools becoming predominantly English. Thus, the Freedom Front Plus views this council as no more than a weapon that will be used to speed up the destruction of Afrikaans and all other non-English schools. The irony of the matter is that Afrikaans parents' tax money will be used to establish the council and pay its members, who are determined to help destroy these people's culture and language. Afrikaans schools already only comprise a mere 6% of all schools in Gauteng. Clearly, Lesufi's obsession with racial politics has given birth to yet another polarizing monster, this time in the form of a Soviet-era racism police that spy on innocent citizens. The Freedom Front Plus will not tolerate this and will do everything in its power to stop the creation of such a council. Now, look, guys, this is the reason we've got to get rid of the ANC. Okay, they are completely out of control. They're destroying minority cultures. They are just, they're evil. This ANC government is nothing more than evil. And we need to take a stand against it. That's why I'm appealing to everybody, please be part of the protest. Join the protest. You've got to be active. The time for sitting in your lounge chair and playing on the keyboard and being a warrior on the keyboard is over. You've actually now got to participate. You've got to join these movements. You've got to actually make this ANC government realize that it's basically on borrowed time. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe.